Yeah. Uh, Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Niranjan here, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all for today's webinar. And we are thrilled to have you join us as we explore some insightful topic together. It's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Balaji Subudhi, a seasoned data scientist, sales specialist, and a mentor with vast experience across the various industries. With a strong background in business analytics and artificial intelligence, and Mr. Balaji has spent over a decade mining insights from large data sets to drive growth in drive growth and innovations. His experience spans roles such as Associate Director of Sales at Mojro and co-founder of Speaking Tea Private Limited, where he successfully merges his analytical skills with strategic thinking to shape data-driven solutions. Today, Mr. Balaji will be sharing his experience on how data can be transformed into a valuable business strategies, showcasing the power of analytics in decision making. And our special guest, Mr. Balaji Subudhi, brings a wealth of experience in data science, business analytics, and strategic thinking. And we are very excited to hear from him today. So let's get started for engaging and informative and very good session from you, sir. So next, it's over to you, sir, now.
Thank you, Niranjan. Okay, so I am Balaji. So I go with Balaji. Please don't call me sir or anything. Please call me Balaji. I'll be very happy with that.
Yes,
Okay. Mm. Let's not waste time by go detail into the introduction and other things. But I will also don't want to take that whole 1.5 hours given to me. Same time, what I want is my presentation to be more interactive. I want you to participate with it. Please let me like ask questions or please respond to my questions so that we can have more interactive session. Thank you. I'm sharing my screen.
no, sir, it's not visible.
Let me know once you're able to see my screens.
Yes, sir, we are able to see.
Okay. Mm.
Now,
Mm. Okay. Mm. So I work for a company called Mojro, and I am heading India sales today. I take care of India and Southeast Asia sales. And Mojro is an AI-driven SaaS platform for urban logistics. So prior to this, like I'm just a less than a year sales guy. Prior to this, I was heading data science in Mojro. So whatever I'm going to present today is purely based on the experience of what I have gained in our last 15, 16 years of data science. And the thing is like I'm going to tell you something about how to lie with statistics. Okay, so that is going to be our topic today. So this is our agenda, how to lie. When lying, does statistic really important? And how stats can be can make lie to a truth. Any questions as of now? Does it feel interesting? Guys, okay, when I'm presenting, I'm not able to see your faces, so please respond to it. Okay, let me extend my screen to the other side. Yeah. Any response? Does you think that it is interesting?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
sounds interesting.
yeah, sir.
Okay. But as we are talking about lie, 1 second. Yeah, I'm just joking. Okay, we are not going to talk all these things. What I'm talking about is how data is important, how we can lie, and when you really don't put the data in the right way, how that becomes lie. That's what we are going to talk about it. Now, when you're talking lie, you most of the things comes with a trust factor. You're able to see my screen, right? You're able to see the chart where I'm talking
No.
about it.
No, sir, actually, that's
You're not able to see the screen.
we're seeing the Teams call.
Pardon?
We're seeing the
Not the
Teams call.
chart, the other screen, Tom. Teams call, yeah.
Okay, you are getting the Teams call. Okay, let me 1 second. 1 minute. What are you seeing
Now
right now?
it's yeah.
A
You're
chart.
getting, yeah. So you're getting the full screen of the chart, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the chart which represents that the professions and how much people trust on those professions. Or when this profession make a statement, how much people trust. So when I talk about a footballer, it can be any sports. Okay. So for example, a Virat Kohli claiming a LBW, how much percentage the empire trust it? Actually, these are only 26%. And when a nurse comes and tells you that you have to eat this medicine, then you trust around 94%. And do you know why so?
Yeah, that's why all the Colgate companies, they produce doctors in their advertising. Yeah, they use doctors. Yeah,
No, I just want the
doctors,
reason why people trust when.
doctors recommended this.
Yeah.
This Colgate has this much salt. Yeah,
Do you know why it is?
because of the profession itself. Yeah.
No, but I'm just talking about even the profession is that, then why people trust that much? A footballer is a cricketer is also a profession. A politician is also a profession. Then why people
More
trust that
scientific.
profession? Pardon?
They don't want to take any kind of risk. They want absolute.
It is more scientific,
Doctor,
I believe. Like people have a tend to believe that this is more science, so they might be more right.
Then scientists should be at the top, right? When it is more relative to the scientist, then people should trust the scientist more than anyone else.
Should be.
Very interesting.
Pardon?
Because the nurse taking care of the people. That is the reason. So I
No.
think it's the emotional issue, emotional kind of thing. That is the thing. Emotional
Yeah.
attachment.
See, a sportsman is more about
Yes.
entertainment. But when
Extensive of
Devs.
education and
Uh,
training.
Pardon?
could you please repeat, sir, for sportsman?
A sports is more about entertainment. You watch sports
Okay.
for entertainment. Whether India wins or loses World Cup really doesn't hamper you in any way,
Okay.
right? But when you are going to a doctor and you don't trust the doctor, it hampers you. You have lack of knowledge over there, so that is where the fear is.
Yeah.
So that is the reason.
Recently, actually, I'm giving an example. Recently, I have one problem.
Yeah.
Health issue. So what I did, I take a review from many people who is good, who is good at this. So then we research lot of doctors, verify lot of doctors, 5-6 doctors, whose hand is very good, and the percentage of purity is good. Then we go to that doctor. Yeah,
So
that is the trust.
because you don't know the things, that's why you trust more. You don't know the science, that's why you trust the scientist. And when you go to school or the college, even the professor teaching wrong, but you trust them because that is what you learned, because you are ignorant about the topic. So that's where the whole thing is comes around. So the trust comes when there is a fear or when there is ignorance. So now my point is like when you have or when you have lack of trust when you are presenting and you are not a doctor and you are not presenting something to someone in your real life, you are presenting to your customer, your manager, or someone who are actually knowledgeable about that. So it is not doesn't work with the trust. It has to be backed by the numbers. So that's where it is more important that you don't work with trust, you work with more about the data. One second. Now, let me show you some bad images. Okay, don't put your wild imagination into it. When I talk about bad images, I'm talking about the bad representation of the data. Now, can you tell me, anyone tell me what is the wrong in this data? What can be wrong in this graph?
maybe the concept of the image and the image which is representing
No,
there is not matching.
the thing is in pie chart, you should represent of 3 to 5 data maximum. 3 to 5 data. But in this case, the pie chart consists of, I think, 25, 30 data. Yeah, that is the wrong thing. We can use bar chart or other kind of thing
Then
for
what
this
is wrong
data
in-
visualization.
like, why can't you put more than 5 or 6 into the pie chart?
Pie, because it's very clumsy. I mean, it's very looking very complex. Yeah. But in bar chart, it doesn't look any complex. But
By-
in pie chart, yeah,
By
it
seeing this
does.
chart, we're not able to get any idea like what exactly we're going to tell.
The major problem over here in this one is the same color is repeating multiple times. The gradients of the colors are very low. And the pie made in such a way that it is not contributing properly. So you have a bigger chunk over here, you have a bigger chunk over here, over a year a bigger chunk, and over here a bigger chunk. Normally you don't represent like that. You represent in a process or in a ascending or descending orders. That is the first thing. The second thing is the same color is repeating multiple times. So do you know what is this versus what is this? Can you identify what is the two different colors in between these two? They might be slightly different, but you really don't know what is the difference over here. All right. So
Yes,
you cannot read this data. I'm also giving you, as you were telling, around 5 or 6 different data points. Okay. I'm just also showing you this is another pie chart. What is wrong in this? It is only having 6 slices.
Okay. Yeah, the thing is, it's all same one thing similar.
Yeah.
One item, one thing similarity is there.
Anything else?
Similarity, yeah, I can say that.
The biggest problem over here, when you are representing a pie, you are talking about the portion of the 100%. Now, if you look into over here, everything together is not even 100%. It is much beyond 100%. It really doesn't represent how many percent of people like mushroom versus how many percentage people like pepper. Right? So it is a bad representative of very good data. Fair?
Yes.
Now, this is one statement which I follow very closely. Okay. Whenever you're trying to lie, the lie has to be very close to the truth, and then it becomes the truth. And that lie becomes the best lie. So, hope you understand this statement, what I'm trying to make over here. I I will give you certain examples what I'm talking about in my following slides. Okay. So whenever you are representing the data, even though you are lying, it has to be very close to the truth so that people should understand it or accept it. Until unless people don't accept, it is not a good lie. So for example, if you're telling this glass is half empty versus telling this glass is half full, both the things are same. But whether you are lying or putting the truth, that exactly the perspective changes. Now, okay, I'm just going to a more detailed way. Now, this is the hierarchy of language processing applied to the data. On the left hand side, I'm talking about what is the language processing, and the right hand side, I'm talking about what you get out of the data. The bare minimum thing you get is the data, and that is something like a morphology. You really don't take mean out of it. But by the time you get the wisdom, that is our pragmatic processing of the data, that is the wisdom you should have. I'm just following this with an example. Can anybody tell what is this?
A number.
Number.
That's
What it represents? What is the meaning of this 50?
Data.
don't know exact. It's just a number.
Is there any significance of this?
Numeric data.
what significance it? If I say it is $50, I add dollar sign in front of it, that value changes. Instead of if I say it is a paisa, that value
Yeah.
suddenly drops. Right?
Yes.
Now there is no value. This data is easily available for you, but there is no value about it. 1 second, please. There is no value about it, right? There is no there is no what do you say? That this data is easily available for you, but it doesn't make any sense. I'll just make a little bit sense of this data. I'm talking 50% of X. Do you know what is X over here? This is still an information. There is some syntax to it. The 50% has the 50 has some representation, some information about it, right? But this doesn't make any sense still because you don't know what is X, right?
Yes.
I'm going a little layer more. I'm just going towards the symmetric. Now, okay, she is my sister. Now both of both of us are same biological parents. Can you tell me how much percentage of DNAs are shared between us? Any guess? Any number?
Probably 60%.
Okay. Actually, it is around very precisely it is 49.8. So it is around 50% of the DNAs are shared. Okay. But can you tell me my DNA versus this chimpanzee, how much DNA is shared?
10%. I can say 10%. 10%.
90%.
90%.
Yeah. Any human you take with a chimpanzee, it matches around 90% of the DNA. No, what does that mean?
No, the thing, because the thing is, chimpanzee is our primary data, old data, you can say. Yeah, chimpanzee is the primary data. From that data, we all came. Yeah.
Exactly. Now that is my ancestor, which even I don't know how many generations is passed, right?
Yeah.
At least I know for that last 40,000 years, or sorry, last 4,000 years, we were not chimpanzee, we were human, right? Now I don't know how many ancestors or how many generations before they were had, but when it is compared to my generation, when I'm talking about mine and my sister's DNA, it is still 50% matching. Whereas my DNA is matching with a chimpanzee with around 90%. This is a knowledge. But what is the use of this knowledge? Can I say that I'm more related to a chimpanzee than my sister? For again, better thing, I'm just telling you, okay, my DNA is, sorry, it is actually 60%, my bad. Okay. So my DNA matching with a banana is around 60%. Now I'm nowhere related to chimpanzee, right? Or banana, right? Biologically.
Yes.
So this is what I'm talking about, a wisdom. When you know the context, what context you are, sorry, somebody was trying to say something. Okay. When you know the context, what you are comparing to, this data has real value in it. Okay. So that is the wisdom you should have whenever you are presenting anything or whenever you are trying to do any analysis onto the ecosystem. Now, when I'm talking about when you wanted to present your data. So how to lie with statistics? When I say lie, everything, there is no model in this world which is 100% accurate. So whenever you are saying that I can predict whether tomorrow there will be rain or not, or whether I can predict that whether the share value will go up or not, whether I can predict whether this guy will default or not, it will never be 100%. So you are lying. When you are lying, you should follow all these 4 methods, or you need to consider these 4 areas. You need to consider visualization. You need to understand the psychology behind. You need to know what exact calculation you are doing and what are the data collected. how you are collecting the data, what is the biasness you are bringing while collecting the data. Let's talk one after another. Let's talk about visualization. I'm saying, okay, we are from AppMan, like our ancestors were apps, right? And from that time, we have certain information. Okay, don't worry, this data is copied or this is from one of the W conference. For a couple of slides, I copied from there. So this is the visual attributes where even the monkeys or when we were able to identify. We are talking about length. From the day one or when we have the knowledge, we knew what is the length, how there are two different lengths are differ. We were able to identify difference in the length and the width. Then we also understand about the orientation. We understand about enclosure. We understood about 2D versus 3D positions. We understood about the grouping together. We understood about size, shape, the curvature, color, and the intensity in the color. So whenever you are representing, you should take care of all those things only. You need not to think beyond this. The more closer you are putting to this, that better representation is that. Now I'm just showing you one data point. In this, there are two visualization. Okay, now this is around 2013's data when Varna got launched, and the Hyundai's information about the Varna versus different other uh, your what is it sedan cars. Now Varna was sold 56,486 units in the month, and they were the highest selling. Now this both the side the data is actually represent the same data. Which one you like the most, the left one or right one?
Left one, sir.
Right one.
Why? Okay, before that, can you tell me that whether these two are the right representation of the data?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's the right one.
I will say I like the right one. Yeah,
Okay, any specific reason for it?
because it is the data visualization is very clear. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
clarity on it.
But Varna used the left one to present his data. The reason being is over here they were talking about Varna was the gold medalist because they won the gold medal for that month. So they presented the Varna in yellow color, which is the golden color. And they represent this because this is also more readable. They and the colors what you see are the one of the big colors of the different vehicles. So that's what Varna's statement was. Okay. Now I'm just talking you another data point. You know who this person is, right?
Okay.
You know this person?
Yeah, Apple. See,
Who is it?
Tim Cook. I think.
Yeah. This is Tim Cook from Apple. He represented this graph which talks about cumulative iPad sales. Okay. This is the data he represented. It is very clear, neat. Is it very
Yes,
neat?
sir.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by this graph?
I mean, the iPad sales are increasing. It's kind of J curve we showing.
That's all you identified out of it. That is what the information you gathered out of it.
So the amount of iPad sales will be increasing from more numbers, like from in the millions.
I mean, in every quarter on quarter, the sales are increasing.
Right.
So sales growth is there. Yeah.
Right. Is that truth? Is that true? You are missing out one very basic thing. There is a mention that it is a cumulative iPad sales. What does that cumulative means?
Don't know, sir.
Summation of all
Acha,
figures.
one thing, a cumulative one thing. standalone, like the standalone and consolidated, a balance sheet. So it is like that. You should see the consolidated. Consolidated means all. Standalone means individual. Like that. This is the same thing.
Yes. So when it says about cumulative, when you go to the quarter four, you're talking about what all you sell from quarter one to quarter four. When you're doing this, is there any possibility of reducing in the volume? It will never, right? Because every month, even if you sell one product extra, it will be always growing.
So this is basically 1 year data.
No, this is for around 14 quarters.
14 quarters means
It is
every year
around
4 quarters.
3.5 years data.
Okay, got it.
So this is a misleading information. Is he not lying about here? I'll just prove it. This is the actual cumulative iPad unit sales. Okay, from 2010 quarter 2 to 2015 quarter 2. Okay. Now this is one I'm talking about unique iPad sales happening. Now you see there are drops in specific months. There are spikes, there are drops. Now this is the moving average of thing. Now over here, if you look into it, so from 2013 quarter 4, the average is going down.
Okay.
But the way he represents is beautiful because he's talking about cumulative. At this point of time also, it is sum of all the sales, right? So it will be always growing.
I mean, you are saying he's not manipulated any data?
Yes, there is no manipulation in the data. This is the right way or a different way of representing the data. Do you know why you never got this question into your mind? Sorry, I'm sorry. You must have seen this video when Tim Cook presented. Why nobody got question about it?
How can we do it, sir? Like, how can we do it?
I didn't get it. Can you elaborate your question, please?
How can we do it like that, sir?
Like what?
Like Tim, cumulative iPad sales.
Exactly, that's what I'm telling you. You need to know the basics very well so that you know what you are representing. So the same data now over here and over here, it is the same exact data what is represented. Here I'm talking about moving average of the sales. Here he's talking about cumulative sales. So the cumulative sales will never drop because once you sold, it is always a positive thing. It can be straight, but it cannot be dropped. Now, when you're talking about moving average, then there is a dip. When you're talking about exact sales, then there is ups and down. So it is all about how you're representing the data, what parameters you are representing. So I say that normally whenever you present, the picture always wins. If something looks too good to be true, it probably is. So it might be really true. So once you ensure that people believe in you, or people start believing the data you are presenting, you should start believing it. And it has to be so clear, so picture perfect, that people should not get this question in their mind. Now I'm talking about psychology. Now, every human being has a Kaplan in it and an Einstein in it. So there is two sides of the brain, right? So I'm talking about what a caveman normally does. Okay, he's very fast to react because he is, in the cave. There might be some insects, some animals coming in, so he has to be very reactive. He tries to do certain automatic, so there is instantly reaction automation. He's trying to get it, and he does those things very frequently. So it feels like automation. They're very emotional and stereotype. Now, this is the one I'm talking about, your brain only. One part of your brain. You are stereotype, you are emotional, you are frequently doing the same thing. You should do certain automations and you are fast reacting to the very basic things. But the Einstein in your mind is very conscious, very calculative. He tries to give logical reasoning to it and effortful. They want to give the right effort thing, and it might be slow. But what you need to do, which you need to pick, you always should pick your Einstein over your Caveman, so that you can win. Now the same example, if I go to the Tim Cooks, your first reaction whenever I give you data, can you represent the data? You will say that, okay, month on month, what is my sell? That is what the ups and downs will be. But your side of your Einstein will always show, because you wanted to sell further, you will always show the growing data so that you can win trust. Nobody goes give attention to the cumulative word. Everybody realize that the sales are going up, but that is not the truth, right? This is how you can lie with the statistics. Every number in statistics stats can be proved. You tell me anything, I can prove that. If I'm representing the data, I can prove that. I can still prove you today that 1 plus 1 is 0, or 1 plus 1 is 1, or I can say that 1 plus 1 is 2. It is the way you wanted to represent it. Now, when you are doing the psychological thing, right, you also has to bring the biasness to it. You need to know that what sort of biasness you are bringing. The exact biasness Tim Cook got. He was trying to represent that the iPad is good and it is keep on increasing sales. That is the biasness he's getting, right? And that's where he is framing you. He is biased towards the sales of iPad, and that's where he is framing you. You got into the frame, and you were able to get it framed. The reason you don't know what is the base value. Yes, you are ignorance of the base value. And in general, people want to look, people see what they look for, and they hear what they listen for. तुम्हें वही चीज दिखेगा जो तुम देखना चाहते हो, और तुम्हें वही चीज सुनाई देगा जो तुम सुनना चाहते हो. So you need to understand when you are presenting the audience whatever the information, what they are looking for and what they want to hear from you. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now coming to the calculation phase. Okay, this is my last slide. Okay. So when you are, it is okay. I could not do much more on the last couple of slides of the psychology and the calculation side of it. There was a bias. There is another slide which is missing now. Okay. So now when you have a symmetric distribution of the data, you understand what is symmetric distribution of the data?
Yes, sir. अरे यार पापा ने हमसे बोला ही नहीं, बस बोला कि सामान पैक कर लो.
Sorry, I'm not able to follow you. Can you repeat again?
It was not a question, the mic was left on.
Okay, sure. So you understand what is symmetric data, right? The answer is also over here. A data is symmetric when your mean, median, and mode are at the same point, which follows a proper bell curve. And people say that mean, median, mode are very good way to represent the things. But in real life, you will never get a symmetric data. All your data are always skewed, where mean, mode, medians never match. Now, Can you lie with mean? Can you lie with median? Can you lie with mode? I say that median is one of the parameter which very much used for wrong representations or representing inequality. And mean is the another parameter. It either represents betterment or the worst of your data, worst side of the data, uh, when your data is not having equality. It depends upon the things. I will give you one example. Now you have world's top 10 richest persons over there in a thing, and you calculate a median. uh, Does it really make any difference? Doesn't really make difference on the wealth side of it because everyone is very rich. But now you are having, say, somewhere around a class where Mukesh Ambani was studying, and you are telling that the average earning of this class batch is some $1 billion. Doesn't it wrong mean? Because there was one outlier which already drags everything towards up. So that is what the wrong thing you do. So whenever you are representing something, whenever you do statistics or representing something, please be careful about it. Okay, just a minute. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. So 1 second. So that's what I wanted to present in front of you. So my objective to bring in front of you is very basic thing. I believe that there is no model in this world is 100% accurate. You do whatever statistics you make, whichever model you do, it will never be 100% accurate. So every model is waste, but few are useful based on the context. So before you get into any sort of modeling, before you get into any sort of representations, you need to understand what you want to do, whom you are representing to, or whom you are presenting to, and what they are looking for. Based on that, if you just do the presentation, or based on that, if you put the things, so that will have real value towards your work. Now, just to give you example, when you are doing a just basic what you say linear regression, for on the data identifying that whether somebody will open a mail or not, based on some data points. If you are getting 70% accurate, that doesn't have any problem. But when you are calculating whether somebody will be defaulted on loan or not, that has to have at least 99% accuracy. Otherwise, you are really losing money, and your money losing big money. Now, the quantum of the same logistical regression differs. And the same model works differently. Now, tell me any two number which doesn't relate it to each other, or where the correlation is 0. Can anyone tell any number? Or can anybody have two different data sets where, or two different columns where the correlation is exactly 0? Anyone? There is nowhere possible. Either you have positive correlation or you have negative correlation, but it cannot be 0. Now, the same thing I'm telling you, when you are going towards your data, when you are before you building the model, please do enough EDA just to ensure that you are getting every permutation and combination the results are what you are talking about. And a few things what I represent that comes with the experience, and you need to have the sharp eye to identify it. So please well aware of what data you are working on. And I don't wanted to bore you again with the same statistical models what we are talking about. I can talk to you about the regressions. I can talk to you about the advanced heuristic models and everything. But I believe that those everything you can do when your basics are clear. Okay, so I wanted to tell you the things which no one tells you, or no books represents. I didn't wanted to tell you the things which you can learn from Google or YouTube. Any questions? I don't have anything further to share at this point of time.
So, sir, actually, we have some generalized questions from our side.
Sure.
So, like, first question will be like, what are the fundamental mathematical concepts or algorithms that every data science beginner should focus on mastering?
You should understand EDA. You should understand outlier handling. These are the two basic things you should do. So when I say EDA, it is exploratory data analysis. So unless you should understand the context of the data. Now the context, as I given you example, a mail campaign versus uh, a loan defaulter. Both the places you are doing the same here, logistic regression. So regression is not a problem. The problem is the understanding of the your what you say, the context of the data. So you need to understand that the business context has to be very important, and spend enough time on your EDA. So today, if I get need to build a model, something, I spend at least 80-85% of the time on EDA, because I'm not writing a model today, morely, right? I have already pre-built functions to do it, or I have ChatGPT to write the code for me.
Yeah.
Right? The more information is I need to guide what the ChatGPT should do.
Sure. Yeah. So, like next, how do different industries leverage data science to solve their real world problems? So can you give some examples for that?
So I will tell you a couple of examples. Okay. It is not about the data science, but it is more about the common sense. Okay.
Yeah.
The data science is nothing which a common sense can do. So the point is, like, you need to understand what exactly you want to achieve out of it, so that you know that what to apply. Now, when you talk about, I'm just giving you an example of a FMCG company. Now, when a FMCG company wants to deliver their products to multiple locations, or just consider that a Unilever is delivering, say, thousands of stores in Bangalore.
Yeah.
How you will do it? Can a single vehicle can go and deliver to all the 1,000 stores in a day? Practical, no.
No, it's not possible.
So how can you do that? The simple logical question is, you need to combine the points which are close by. Maybe a Kormangla one vehicle, a BTM one vehicle, something else one vehicle, and you geographically clustering them.
Yeah.
So that is the basic clustering algorithm you are using over there. So that is one thing, how all the logistic companies use the delivering ecosystem. They try to do clustering on the basis of the points. Now, then if I go to a banking sector, where they are identifying where they can do the next branch, or where they can put the next ATM, they also use the same clustering algorithm. They understand, they know that where their customers are, how much one customer is withdrawing. And based on that, they identify that where the next best thing is. And that is also geographically clustering. Now, the same clustering has different proposition for different industry.
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
it is, so that's what I'm telling you. The more you understand about the context of the business, the better you can model it.
Yeah. Like, And then next will be what are the most common challenges faced when working with a large data sets, and how do experts overcome them, sir?
See, when it is come to the large data sets, the biggest challenge is the engineering.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we work with largest data sets, then we need to manipulate some data, or else we cannot handle this data. Yeah, for clustering.
So Manoj,
Isn't clustering is a manipulative technique? I'm right.
yes, it is. Okay. So anything you modify the data is a manipulation technique. Okay. So just to give you an example, okay. When your data is not very much correlative, so we do certain, our orthodox ways to make it correlate so that our data points can match. So something I remember one of the case when I was working for Airbnb, which is the Budweiser company. So to identify that how my music campaigns is running, so there is a norm, right? The people we can't
Yeah.
directly market with the it is a beer or anything like that. So any alcohol cannot be marketed. So you are trying to represent the name of Budweiser with music cities, with games and other things. So when we are doing so, we didn't have the correlation of the or none of the correlations were very great. So what we did is we stick in a square of the age to identify that there is a highly correlation. So that's what it is. Okay. Now, is that a right way? Yes, it worked, so it is right way. If it don't work, this is not a right way. Now, going back to the old question, how when you manipulate with the data. So what we do is normally is that when we are having large data sets, we take a chunk. So for example, I am using a Mac. Okay, I'm using a 32 GB Mac. So I might handle around 5 GB of data in Excel. So when I say Excel is a any tabular format, but you cannot do it in a Windows system, or you have a limitation with it. Now, when those scenarios comes, what we do is like we take a chunk of data or try to what you say write representative subset of the data and try to run the model on top of it. Then we extrapolate it to the bigger data set on the servers. And you need to understand what is the right way to process it and right way to cluster the data. So you can do multi-tenant architectures for it. So you know that okay, this data can be broken in this way and parallelly process it. So for example, my company works for say Flipkart. So we know that in a day they do around more than 1.5 lakhs deliveries. Now, all the 1.5 lakhs is not practically possible to process in one go. So we divide that into first time bands. So somebody is placing orders saying that I need the delivery between 5 to 10. Somebody says that I need delivery after 10. Somebody says that before 5 o'clock. So we break that into two different series. So the same 1.5 lakhs become 50,000 problem. 50,000 problem. Then we divide by cities. So that same 50,000 become say 10 cities, then 5,000 problems. Then you solve the 5,000 problem. That becomes easier for you. So you need to know that what is the way you need to cluster where your data doesn't get hampered. I see a couple of hand raised. Mohammed, if you can, yeah.
My question is for someone new to data science, what key skills or tools would you recommend that we can focus on first?
And the basic thing I recommend is Excel. Okay. You need not to be worried about what algorithm you are going to use and other things. So you should be very much clear about what is the basics of data science, something like the mean, mode, median, what is the standard deviations on the data, how with the context the data changes, and use your common sense. So two things is very important. You just need to have a bit of Excel knowledge. So today, a lot of algos are there in Excel even, and use your common sense to get the right answer. I will not even say that go for Python, go for R, go for something like any complex tools. I will not suggest that. So there are like, if you know what exactly to be done, for example, you know that key in that data set, you need to do the clustering and you need to do this. You can ask the ChatGPT to write a Python code and it works. I'll just give you
Okay.
example. 3 days back, we had a outage last Friday. We had a outage, and we wanted to like for a customer we are onboarding, we had outage. We wanted to write a very a recommendation engine for which day to pick up the goods, and it took us around Friday evening around 4 o'clock till Saturday, maybe late night 8 o'clock. We were able to write around 11,000 rows of code using ChatGPT because we knew exactly what needed to be written. We broken the problem into small parts, and we exactly got what we wanted from ChatGPT.
I mean, you are saying for data analysis, the requirement for Python is limited, very less. Are you saying that?
I'm not saying that Python is not required. What I'm saying is for a starter, when you're starting something, don't jump into Python. More, I will suggest you that understand what is the basics of it. Now, for example, Python is just a language, right? You have to use your common sense to write what language it is. For example, you are in Karnataka and you came from say a north or somewhere you don't know Kannada. How you learn the language? Because you are you know Hindi, you are trying to tell the same thing, somebody translates to you and you get the Kannada word, right? If you don't know anything or you don't know any language, then learning language is a tougher job. But when you know the basics of something, it becomes much easier, right? So that's what my point is. So if you know what you're doing in Excel, you directly search that in Google and you get some output of the Python code.
Okay, and I have one more question.
Sure.
Can you tell me some common mistakes professionals or the learners, they do while applying or learning data science, and how they can be avoided?
So the most common thing is like people get very much overwhelmed with the algorithms. Okay, people don't know why they're using that algorithm. That is one of the biggest mistake. If I ask you when to use a random forest versus when to use a distant tree, maybe 10 people can answer on a theoretical, but when they get the data, they apply both the things and they see that which is getting more better result. That is most more common mistake people do. When you would know the definition, you should apply the definition also.
So we need to understand the algorithm first.
Yes, because today you are not writing the algorithm. Somebody has wrote the function, you are just using the function.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, Niranjan.
Yeah, so actually I want to take take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude in each and everyone who are present over here, and thanks for joining us today. So, sir, your presence made us very truly special. It was very interactive and informative. So, thank you so much, sir. Uh,
Thank you very
Thank you for
much.
your informative session.
Thank you very much. Please let me know, guys, if I can be of any help in the future.
Sir, I
Sure,
have
sir.
one doubt, sir.
Sure. Please go ahead.
Sir, which site is useful for grabbing the details regarding this data science?
Pardon? Yeah, which site is useful for?
Uh, we can get the data science related details like uh, for our knowledge.
So when I was when I was learning data science, okay, so I am done my master's in data science. So we normally got a lot of data sets to work with. But to improve my skills, what I used to do is I used to participate in Kaggle. There is a lot of huge data sets we used to get it, and the really interesting problem statements used to come. I'm not followed Kaggle for at least for last couple of years right now, so I don't comment. But that platform was built for that, so I still believe that they are good. And when you are building something, right, you also need to follow the the what is the forum, what people are talking, what people have done. There is a lot of time people have said their code which can improve your skill set. So that is one thing. Something similar in India, there is Analytics Vidya is another platform you can use. The last one is I still believe that learning is a continuous process. You learn every day something. And so I normally till today I have a subscription of Coursera, and I keep learning something or other from Coursera every like a month. So I really don't know how many certificates I have closed in Coursera. But even though today I am more into sales, I don't do very actively data science. I just guide the team whenever it is required. Mm. Uh, in this scenario also, I try to learn something about something. So how to represent the data and other things. Okay, there is nothing, whatever I told you today is nothing new. But to be very honest, when I saw for that Tim Cook's presentation for that time, I also never questioned it. But when I was start going through more and more, I realized that there is something wrong. So I debugged. So you should keep on learning something. So this is the 3 websites you could primarily follow, you get something better. So in Coursera, there are a lot of free courses out there. You can learn out of it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions?
No, sir.
No.
Nothing, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for bearing me for almost an hour, for hearing my nonsense.
No, it's
No, no,
our pleasure
informative.
to be you here, sir. It's a pleasure to listen to experienced person like you. Yeah,
So
it is a knowledgeable session. I must say that.
So to be very honest, I really didn't get what you wanted to hear or anything. I knew for sure that this what I'm going to represent or what I'm going to present, you will not get that easily. From any materials or anything. No textbooks tells you all those things. So I thought like, let me do something which nobody does.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
It's a pleasure to